Hey, it is recorded. All right, I like that. Okay, here we go. 510. Wow. 2021. So our objective today is to solve trig equations with answers from 0 to 360 or from 0 to 2 pi, which means basically we're looking at the entire unit circle, right? So we're going to use the entire unit circle. So reference angles really come in handy. So let me go ahead and draw a picture. Now, 150 degree angle is about, I'm just going to draw a picture, it's about there. And since really all of this trigonometry really comes from right triangles, all of this trigonometry, there's 150 degrees here, then if it all comes from right triangles, then my reference angle is there. The reason this is important today, if we want to find more than one answer, we're going to need to know its reference angle, okay? Because, for instance, for sine, are you watching for sine? You could have an angle over here with a 1/2 height. You could have the other angle over here with a 1/2 height. Both angles are correct, okay? And we're going to do this example real quickly, okay? If I had a 200 degree angle, it'd be a rotation like maybe over to about here, right? That'd be about 200 degrees. But again, trigonometry really comes from right triangles. So really what we're looking at is a right triangle here. So acute angles are always with the x-axis. So my reference angle for this one is really going to be 20 degrees. Okay, this reference angle is 30 degrees, okay? 150, 30 more makes 180. If this is 200 degrees, then this angle has to be 20 for the 180 degrees. And negative 50 degrees, well, all right, let's see, negative 50 degrees would be more like this, all right? But again, we're looking at a right triangle. You can't have a negative angle with a triangle. You guys agree with that? You cannot have a negative angle with a right triangle. And you can have a negative rotation, but not a right triangle. I mean, so if we were looking at a right triangle, you're talking about a 50 degree angle because you can't have negative angles in a right triangle. So the reference angle is positive 50 degrees, okay? Now, how's that going to help us? Well, let's take a look at A. And I want to highlight this. I want you guys to highlight that too, okay? Find the following angles in degrees from 0 to 360 degrees, okay? So, if I'm looking for theta equals 1/2, which is a y value, then one answer is there. And of course, we want this in degrees. That makes it easy, okay? So theta equals 30 degrees. Okay, everybody good on that? I mean, it's the y value of 1/2, y value of 1/2, 30 degrees, okay? But there's another one. So there's another y value of 1/2. And so I say two answers, and sure enough, there's another y value of 1/2, a height of 1/2, which is the 150 degrees. Now, because we can go from 0 to 360, theta is also 150 degrees, okay? Now, what we're going to look at tomorrow, not today, just to give you a little insight, but tomorrow we're going to look at a sine curve. You ever heard of a sine curve? You ever heard of a sine curve? Anybody? Ever heard of a sine curve? There you go. And this would be 1, and this would be 1/2, and there are two places where the curve is at 1/2, and the two places are at 30 degrees and 150. This is to set us up for tomorrow, okay? You don't need to know this yet, but I want you to look at this and say, well, yeah, there are two answers that have a height of 1/2. Now, sine of 0.8. Well, the bummer about sine of 0.8 is it's not on the circle. So what do? That's easy. We just use a calculator. Now, if we want to find the angle, of course, got to go the sine inverse. So I'm going to go the sine inverse of 0.8, okay? So I'm going to go, okay, mode, make sure I'm in degree mode, right? Because degree mode, right? Degree mode, all right? And I'm going to go sine inverse of 0.8, and I get an answer of, all right, 53 degrees. 53.1 degrees. Now, I know that, okay, here's the part I have to have you watch. I know the sine is the y. One angle's at 53 degrees, the other's over here. So I'm going to subtract 180 from this answer. I'm going to go, so to find the other angle, so I'm going to go theta 2 is going to be 180 minus 53.1, and 180 minus 53.1, I get an answer of about 126.9. That's my other angle. Both of these two angles will have a height of 0.8. If I go up to 0.8, both these two angles will have a height of 0.8, okay? Now cosine of 0.7, well again, cosine 0.7 is not on the unit circle, right? So 0.7 is over here somewhere, right? Okay, 0.7, so one angle's over here, it's not on the unit circle, so what do I do? Use my calculator. So let's just go cosine inverse of 0.7. I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to go cosine inverse of 0.7, and I get an angle of about 45.6. Okay, so theta is about 45.6. Okay, now think about what's going on. Cosine is the x value, right? So the other one's down here. And from 0 to 360 degrees, the other one's down here, it would be 360 degree rotation. It's going to be a 360 degree rotation. So what I'm going to do is go theta 2 is going to be 360 minus my 45.6 gives me my second angle. So 60 minus my answer. And I get an answer of about 314.4. Okay. Now tangent is a y over x, and of course that's not on my unit circle. So to get its angle, again, it's not on the unit circle, I'm just going to use the tangent inverse of my 1.5. Okay. So a tangent inverse of 1.5, whoops, and I get an answer of about 56.3 degrees. The other tangent values, in fact, if you look at this, okay, I want you to see this unit circle. Here, here, here. Do you see that all the tangent values are just 100 degree rotation? So if one of the angles is here at 56, the other's down here, 180 degrees beyond it. So if I want the other tangent value, thank you, I'm just going to go theta 2 will go 180 degrees plus my 56.3 degrees. So 180 plus that answer, and I get about a 236.3 degrees. So I've got two angles, right? 56.3 and 236.6 degrees, okay? How am I doing? I'm doing okay? It's making a little bit of sense? All right, let's put on our thinking cap. Here we go. Sine of 0.8. Well, okay, again, it's not on the unit circle. I know that it's a y value, so it's got to be down here. Okay, it's a y. Sine is a y value. Sine is a y value. Negative 0.8 would be down here somewhere, so I should have two angles over here. Oh gosh, maybe about 230 degrees, and maybe the other one's going to be about 320 degrees. I don't know, but negative 0.8 is down here. So I'm going to get these two answers. One's going to be about down here, right, at about maybe 220 20 degrees, I don't know, and the other one's going to be out here maybe about 320, I don't know. Let's find out what it is. So to find out what it is, I'm just going to go sine inverse of my negative 0.8. So we'll go sine inverse of negative 0.8. I get a negative angle. Now, negative angle is not really what I want because, first of all, I'm supposed to be between 0 and 360, okay? So I get this negative 53.1 degrees, okay? Now, the problem is that it's down here, okay? Negative 53 is down here, okay? You guys okay? Negative 53 is here. But my directions say I want it between 0 and 360. So if my angle's down here, I got to go this time all the way around the circle because it's got to be between 0 and 360. So if I take my negative 53 degrees and rotate it all the way around the circle, I'll come back to it. So I'm going to add, I'm going to go 360 plus my negative 53.1. And I'll get the exact same spot, but so I'm rotating my tire all the way around to it, okay? Take my 360, I add that answer to it, and I get 306.9. So theta is about 306.9, right? Degrees. All right. So right about here is one answer, but the other answer's got to be over here, right? So the other answer is, well, if we take 180 plus our 53, right? We go 180 plus that 53, we'll be right where we want to be. I remember that's 53. That negative 53 is this space right here. It'll be the same space right here. So if I take the 180 plus that 53, I'll get the second angle. So I'm going to go, okay, theta 2. I'm just going to go 180 degrees plus that 53.1. I'll get my second angle. Okay. I can answer about 233.1 degrees, okay? How am I doing? Now, the only difference in example 2, exact same problems, exact same type of problems, the only difference is this. We're just going to change our mode. We're just going to change our mode. Now, we're still going to get angles, but the angles are going to be weird because they're going to be in terms of decimals, okay? Now, if we take a look at problem number or letter B, it's the exact same question, right? It's the exact same question. The only difference is that it's in terms of radians. Okay, so all right, I can do that. So first thing to do is change my mode to radians, right? So change my mode. Okay, I'm in radians. Again, 0.8 is a y value. I'm looking for an angle. Okay, so it's not on the unit circle, so that's okay. I'll just go sine inverse of my 0.8. Okay, so then what angle? Now, it's not going to look like an angle, but it is an angle in terms of radians. Sine inverse of 0.8, and I get an angle of 0.93. That is an angle in terms of arc length. Okay, so one angle, theta, is about a 0.93, and I'll just go rad. You don't need to put the rads, but I'm going to go rad just so you know it's radians, okay? Now the other angle, what do we do up here? Well, what we did up here is we went 180 minus that angle, right? We went 180, so we knew that the angle's up here and the second one's over here, right? So I subtracted 180, but I'm not going to subtract 180 because I'm not doing degrees. I'm going to subtract pi, okay? Pi, because we're talking about radians, not angles. What I did last time I subtracted 180, but that's degrees. We're not doing degrees, we're doing radians, so let's go pi. So for theta 2, we'll go pi minus 0.93, and we'll get our second angle. Okay, so we're going to go pi minus my 0.93. Whoop, clear that. Pi, subtract my answer. And I get an answer about 2.2. So theta 2 is about a 2.2 radians. Okay, how am I doing? Okay, now cosine. Cosine's the next value, right? It's going to be over here. 0.7, so I'm going to have an angle here and an angle here, right? I'm going to have an angle here and an angle here. So let's figure out what this angle is here, okay? So I'll go cosine inverse of negative 0.7. Again, my calculator. Cosine inverse of 0.7. And I get an answer about, well, I'll just round it to 0.8. Okay, so theta is about oh, it's wrong. I forgot the negative. My bad. I knew that was wrong. It's in the wrong spot. Cosine inverse of negative 0.7. How about 2.3? How about 2.35? 2.35. Okay, that's theta 1. Okay. Now the second angle is down here somewhere. Okay. So what we could do is, the easiest way for cosine always is if you subtract 2 pi from this one, it's going to be back around to that one. Okay, so if I go 2 pi, and we're going to learn this, minus this 2.35, we'll get the other angle. About a 3.94. Okay. Tangent. Well, it's the same as what we did before. Exact same question, right? Exact same question. The only difference is it's in terms of radians, right? Exact same question, right? It's what we did up here. So we do the exact same things. Oh, did I not do that one? Sorry, we'll do it now. So we'll go tangent inverse of a negative 1.2. Tangent inverse of negative 1.2. Okay, now I get this answer. Now wait a minute. I can't use that answer. I can't use this answer. You know why I can't use this answer? Look right there. The angles I'm looking for are on the unit circle. This angle that we just came up with is negative, right? So we want the positive value of it, okay? So this angle's down here, negative, but we don't want the negative because our direction is say between 0 to pi. So let's add 360 to it. Add not 360, but add 2 pi to it because that's the same thing. So we take my answer. I'm going to go my 2 pi plus my negative 0.876. Okay, I'm going to go 2 pi plus that answer, and I get about a 5.4. So now that's the same exact angle, but it's between 0 and 2 pi. So all we did is we took this answer, here, negative, we rotate around. Now we know the other answer is 180 from tangent, 180 from it, or pi, not 180 pi. So theta 2, if I go 5.4 and subtract pi, I'll get my second angle, okay? So I'm going to go with my 5.4, I'll subtract pi from that. This is a hard lesson, huh? But we can do it. I'll help you. And I can answer about 2.27. Okay? I guess we turn the page. Now, all right, first thing I do, first thing I do before I do anything, what am I going to do? Change your mode, right? First thing I do is change my mode on my calculator. Let's go mode. Let's change my mode to degree. There you go. All right. Now, cosecant is not in my calculator, but sine is. So right, this is 1 over sine of theta equals 2.1, right? Cosecant is not in my calculator, sine is. And then I flip it, right? So I've got sine theta is equal to 1 over 2.1. And if I need the angle, I'm looking for the angle, so I'm going to go sine inverse of this 1 over 2.1. Let's see here. I'll go clear. I don't want that. Clear. Sine inverse of 1 divided by 2.1. I get about a 28.4 degree angle. Okay, so theta is 28.4 degrees. Okay. Now to find its reference angle, its other angle, we're going to subtract from 180. because we know that sine is a y value. If one angle's over here, the other angle's got to be over here. So I'm going to subtract from 180 to get this angle. So I'll just go simply 180 minus my 28.4 degrees. Are you starting to kind of get the hang of this? Kind of starting to see it a little bit? This is going to take some practice. I know that. About 151.6. So I have two angles. Remember, we're trying to find both. Because between 0 and 360, we're always going to get two angles, okay? I'm running out of room for the secant one, but we just do that in terms of cosine. Actually, I'll jump down to D, okay? Because I'm running out of time and running out of room. Let's jump down to D, okay? So D is no different, except we just have to solve first, okay? So D is just a little bit version of it. So if we solve first, minus 5, right? Solve, minus 5, level 4. Secant theta equals a negative 5. Divide by 4. Secant of theta is equal to negative 5/4. But you don't have a secant. There's no secant in your calculator, right? So let's change this to cosine. So 1 over cosine of theta is equal to negative 5/4. Okay, get rid of that because we're going to run out of room. Sorry. So instead of 1 over cosine, let's just change it to cosine of theta is equal to 4 over negative 5. How am I doing? Okay? Not too fast? Tell me if I'm going too fast, please. Now this I can do. And I'm going to use my calculator to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go cosine inverse of 4 divided by 5. I get an angle about 36.9 degrees. Theta is about 36.9 degrees.
Wouldn't that be wrong because that's an 90?
Yes, it is wrong. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you for catching my dumb mistake. Yep. 4 divided by negative 0.5. Thanks, Spencer. How about 143? Theta is about 143.1. Thanks, Spencer. So cosine of 143 degrees is over here. The other one's over here. I'm going to subtract 360 degrees to bring this all the way over here. So I'm going to go 360 minus 143.1. And I get about a 216.9. Okay. Now 4 and 5 are the same thing, except for they're in terms of radius. Now I want to give you something that I think will help. Okay. I want to give you something that's going to help a lot. Okay. Reference angles. Write this down. Okay. Write this down. The reference angle is the theta 2. It's the second angle, okay? Okay? This should help. Because sometimes I subtracted from 180, didn't I? Sometimes I added 180, right? Sometimes I subtract from 360, right? Well, with cosine, you're going to always subtract from 360 minus your angle to get your reference angle. Always, okay? Or 2 pi minus your angle to get your second angle, okay? And sure enough, okay, I'm going to show you. Here was a cosine. What did I do? I subtract from 360, right? And I got my reference angle, okay? This will help you a lot. Cosine, what did I do? Subtract from 360, right? Always. So this should help you a lot. What did I do with sine? With sine, I was subtracting from 180, wasn't I? Sine of subtracting from 180, right? So for sine of theta, I'm going to go 180 degrees minus my theta. Unless your angle is bigger than 180, then you subtract from 180. Okay, now I'll show you what that means. Okay, so I got to show you that one. Unless sine is negative, okay? Inverse of the negative. Then you're going to go the theta minus the 180, okay? But I'll show you that. So for instance, here, where is it? Right there. So we want 180 plus that angle, okay? And then finally, tangent is always going to be 180 plus your angle, okay? And that should help some to get your second angle, okay? Now, let's look at the homework, page 299, 2 through 20 even. I'm going to need to help you with this today, okay? How much time do I have left? 2:28? Not much, but I'm going to see what I can do to help you, okay? Let me stop the recording.